I need to talk about the same way he's talking about, and I did it with no problem at all.
Excuse me, you said she asked you something about what type of paper? Or maybe I heard wrong.
When you read the number, say exactly what it is.
Okay, number 16. Where you're supposed to check other specify. Number 16, other specify right here. No paper.
Yeah, okay, yes. Number 16 is the principal activity.
Hello. How are you?
16 is what?
What is your principal activity?
Oh, okay.
And you check other, saying contracts and commercial paper.
Oh, that's what I heard. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
I mean, they may not even ask that question at all. I mean, but then I guess you have to be prepared if they do.
Right.
But I was specified twice of non-withholding foreign grantors trust.
John.
Hi, John.
Howdy.
Because the thing is once they get on the phone and you get their number from them, and you let them know that you're doing this by proxy. I'm sorry. Oh, please kill that proxy crap. What I meant to say, if you say that you're the designee, the third-party designee, then you're going to fax them the SS4, and they're going to be going through the process with you with the same SS4 that you provided them. So it's really over as soon as you fax them the SS4, because whatever the SS4 says is what they're going to process. And
wow.
if the SS4 that you fax them is not completed properly, then they're going to terminate the conversation altogether.
Yes, but they didn't ask for a fax of an SS4.
No, they didn't, but that's what you should do.
Right.
If you're going to do the process that Ray just spoke of, you should call them and tell them that you're going to be a third-party designee in the process.
Oh, yes. That's if you're a third-party designee. You not only need to get the SS4 signed from the person you're doing, but you also need a letter of permission from them for your files in case they call you on that. They make that point when you get the other ones online. If you get the things online for other people, they say you should, before you do this, you should have in your possession their signed SS4 and a permission from them to have you call.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, power of attorney.
Right. Now, it doesn't need to be complete power of attorney. You can just say I give permission for this person to call for my EIN.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's all the same.
You guys are going around and around in circles and not even hearing what the hell I've said over the last 2 weeks, okay? I don't know what's wrong with you guys, okay?
I think that was something else, man.
I gave you a foreign affidavit. We have a foreign address right here. We're foreign to Pennsylvania. Where are you living? Come on, people. Wake up. I send you out also a copy of my American Admiralty vessel baptismal blessing and foreign admiralty affidavit.
Right.
Bunch of garbage on the damn Skype group, 150-some people on there, and basically garbage. On the other one, nothing. On the other one, nothing. All the people I sent it to, nothing. That was a phenomenal document if you guys understood what it was saying. But evidently you guys don't know anything. You can't read and understand.
I
gave you the big thing right out of every goddamn movie out here. The first thing in the movie is the FBI warning about copyright infringement. And you didn't even catch that. Your
did.
name is copyrighted by an ecclesiastical court when you get baptized. That's your name. It was bestowed and blessed upon you. Now, the damn pirates out here, and see, we have a baptized or a Christian treasury vessel created at the same time, well, basically not the same time that we were born, in our living flesh vessel, but at a later date, and it came out of the Philadelphia shipyard, the Treasury shipyard. That certificate of live birth was the building permit to build that vessel. It was put into the harbor. Now, before the ship can operate, it had to be christened. Not with a bottle of champagne, but just by water, by an ecclesiastical court recording, blessing, and bestowing the name upon the vessel. Now you stand in admiralty. You stand in admiralty against the pirates, just like in the Pirates of the Caribbean. The pirates have a vessel, the Social Security vessel, but it has never been baptized. Mm-hmm. It's a monomain vessel. It's the Black Pearl. It's a dead man's ship. Pirating and plundering the American assets, your assets. Now, when you understand what you have here with this item, you can walk into any of these false maritime courts that the state courts are taking you into, and you stand over them. They're pirates. Those courts are fraud. They're bankers' courts. They transferred so much funds into a Social Security vessel out of our Admiralty vessel. They robbed our account. In that regards, you have never gotten the full value out of that account yet. It's of no benefit. That damn Social Security is of no damn benefit whatsoever to us. It's only a benefit to the corporations and to the bankers. But you didn't know that you were operating in a movie and that basically you had copyright infringement rights all along. $250,000 right there. 5 years in prison for copyright infringement. They never gave full disclosure of any of the contracts that you signed into. Not with the SS4 or the W4 or basically any of the signing up with the Social Security account. Everybody thinks it's for retirement and for medical, old age. No. I told you a week or so ago, so read the definition. Social Security was supposed to be there for the welfare of the people. The credits in there were supposed to be released to pay for the mortgage for the house. We're supposed to be there to pay for the mortgage or for the credits for the people in college, for higher education, for our welfare, not for their goddamn welfare. I've
already mailed mine out.
Yeah, but until you understand that damn baptismal document that I posted up there, you ain't going anywhere.
Hey, Patrick, that's how you open up the show, man. That's how you start to put it down, baby. That's what's up. Yeah. I like when you, tell it like that. See, now that give me a lovely picture.
You don't need a lottery ticket. You got the Treasury. You got the American Admiralty Treasury sitting here. You're going to have to surrender this. But you can take this baptismal document, get it notarized, take it with your certificate of live birth or baptismal certificate, your birth certificate, and your Bible into any of their goddamn courts, and basically you can tell them that basically, hey, shove it. You're the ones that owe the damn bill. You harm me, and I will take you into a court of admiralty at the federal level. I will get the FBI in here, the federal banking inspectors. I will get the Social Security Inspector General, the Treasury Inspector General, the IRS Inspector General, and you claim fraud because they did fraudulent concealment and they're doing banking fraud in the whole damn process. All of these cops and everything else are out here, are licensed. They're writing securities, banking securities, when they write a traffic ticket. They've got to be licensed to do that. They've got to have a banker's license. So all those corporations are basically have an EIN, and that EIN is for banking purposes. I don't know how more I can break this thing down. I gave you some definitions there. 3 little simple definitions. Robbery, piracy. Now, I forget what the other one was. But basically, they're standing right there, looking at you. Fraud, deceit, trickery, for profit. I highlighted the damn thing. They're the ones that are operating for profit. You're not getting any profit out of this. And not only are they robbing you out of your back pocket, but they're robbing the assets off of your vessel. They're taking your homes, your cars, and everything else that you basically gave a letter of credit from the damn Social Security account to begin with. It's already paid for. And then they operate under robbery in the way of intimidation. You walk into these courts now and you stand in admiralty. They are not standing in admiralty. They're not in maritime even. They're in piracy. That's a pirate's court. Just like in the movie Pirates of the Caribbean. When the girl asked for parlay. And basically, what did that other captain say? Well, that's sort of just a guideline. The Pirate's Code. And then he turned around and made up his own rules. Well, what does the court do? They don't operate by all those damn codes that they're supposed to be operating out of, the Pirate's Codes. And that's all that these USC and state codes are. They're Pirate's Codes. And they're frauds. You have to stand in admiralty and come down upon them. They are the bankrupts out here. You can take them into bankruptcy. And when you go into admiralty, they cannot take a banker attorney in there with them, a bar card member in there with them. That judge cannot be operating under a bar card. You also get your ecclesiastical court minister involved into the process too. Go in the internet and check out ecclesiastical court. I think one of the people posted that on the site, or somebody sent it to me anyway.
They posted a paper about ecclesiastical court deed poll.
Yeah, it's Catholic Encyclopedia, Ecclesiastical Court. It's got a pretty good write-up of most of it in there. All churches lead to Rome. All churches derive their basic structure from the Church of Rome. From the epistles and the Gospels in the New Testament. Now, they don't all agree on everything, but basically they have to agree on the foundational items there. Because that law is basically cut in iron. And that's what Christ stands for, is basically the law now in iron. Initially, it was iron when the Roman Empire was a republic. And that was what it was in Jesus' time. It was still a republic. It wasn't until later on, around 300 A.D., that basically the church came in there and basically masked it over with the clay over iron. But the iron is still there. I've told you before that Bible is strictly a banker's book of banking laws. You have to operate in commerce, but you do not have to operate in Jezebel or commercial commerce. Adam was given the whole earth, dominion over the whole earth. That means the people were given the dominion over the whole earth. The corporations, they don't have dominion over shit. Even the government is just a corporation. It's a chartered organization that was created by the people. The people still have the power over them. We control the purse string with our baptismal record and our birth certificate and the Bible in hand. We are the owners of America, not the government. We own the treasury. We can pull the money away from them. Shut them down. Throw them in jail for a change. On that call from that Yahoo group that I had posted up there, from the November 12th call, one of the ladies came on there and said that basically the Pope, who just happens to be a Jesuit Pope, So don't knock the Jesuits. He was telling the people the truth. The prisoners, basically in Pennsylvania. Your remedy is in the prison chapel. Well, what do you get if you go into a chapel? You can get baptized or rebaptized. If you don't have your baptismal record with you, you can get rebaptized. And basically you're going into an ecclesiastical court action in that process. That's what the Pope was trying to tell the prisoners. Your remedy is right there in that chapel. By your baptism. Baptism was to forgive all original sins. What do you have? You've got an original contract. That was an original sin with the bankers. And it was operated under fraud. But you gave them the credits. They're not utilizing the credits in the proper way. They're utilizing them as collateral fraudulently in the process so that they can make profit off of it. They are holding it against you. That's the fraud. They were supposed to take the credits and settle off the bill right then and there. That's why if you go to the Social Security Inspector General and they're taking out income taxes, you can basically turn the tables on them and you claim fraud to that Social Security Inspector General, but you better have your shit together when you call them up so that you can explain what the fraud is and what your proper standing is. I did it. One of the other guys did it. We got immediate remedy out of this deal. You get a letter from the IRS. You turn around and say, hey, this bullshit. Send it back to them. And say, I will take you into an admiralty court. You stand against them. They're the ones that are operating in fraud. We don't owe the taxes. The ones that are making the profit and the benefit off of our assets, they're the ones that owe the taxes. Strongly recommend that you guys start looking at some of these movies that I've been talking about out here, because a lot of this has been in them. But the very key thing is that FBI warning at the very beginning of every movie. See, it's right there in front of you, and you don't realize what you're seeing. Eyes that see that don't see. Just like it was foretold in the Bible. And then ears that hear but don't hear. Just like all my calls that I've made here. Listen to it one time and think you know everything? Bullshit. The only reason I know what I'm saying is because I repeat it numerous times over. And then I speak loud enough so I can hear myself at the same time. So if you don't like me speaking loud, tough shit. I'm trying to get my point across to you people. Wake you up. Try and tell you to pass the word out here. Right now, for as much as I've talked about this stuff, there should be 300 people on the damn call every Monday or every Wednesday and Sunday night. At least. I should be getting calls from some of these other nitwit gurus out here that think they know what this shit's going on. Because some of you people out there are listening to these other guys, but you're not telling them about what the hell I'm doing or about what remedy we've gotten. It's hard to get remedy from a pirate, but we're getting it. It's not millions of dollars or anything like that, but we're scaring the living shit out of them. I had unpaid traffic tickets for over 2 years. They had warrants out against those traffic tickets, but they never came out and arrested me. I'm only 3 miles outside of town. I've driven right into the sheriff's office with my plates on my damn car and on my pickup. The pickup says just executor on the back plate. Yeah, I'm sort of friends with the sheriff and basically most of the deputies in there, but that's beside the point. Even the police department won't touch me. And I've met them head on. Well, not quite head on, in the opposite lane, stopped at a stop sign. They could see my front license plate, plain as day, that it wasn't a state-issued plate. I'm not scared of these guys anymore. And it's not just that I've been in driving around here in my little small burg. I've been into Iowa City and Ottumwa and several other places around. Past highway patrol on the road. The chances of getting picked up are slim and none. How many drivers are out there? How many police are out there? The probability is very slim. But when you start understanding what the hell I've been talking about, and you do it in the right way, and you get your documents in, and see, my car is not licensed to the state. I never gave the state permission to make a profit off my vehicle. It's not a pirate's vessel. If you've got a certificate of title to that vehicle, it's a pirate's vessel. They have confiscated your vessel from you. You're now leasing it back from them. That's why you need to have a driver's license, because you need to drive their vehicle.
But like you said, there's no full disclosure when you sign up and get an application.
That's right, and basically you've got to know how to stand up against them, and you will take them into admiralty. They're not operating in admiralty.
I know. You're
going to declare, and you're going to bring in the FBI down upon them. You're going to demand a full accounting of any charges that they try and write against you. Get the bankers, the federal banking inspectors involved. They've been waiting for the people to wake up because, like I said, it's in the front of every damn movie out there. They're doing a copyright infringement of your name. Read what that says, okay? It says, federal law provides severe civil and criminal penalties for the unauthorized reproduction, distribution, and exhibition of my, and basically then I added that in there, my ecclesiastical court, American copyrighted Christian name and or vessel. Criminal copyright infringement. Now, I didn't change anything there. Basically, criminal copyright infringement is to be investigated by the FBI but I did add the Federal Banking Inspector Generals for banking fraud and piracy. I added piracy. Strongly recommend you watch, basically get any DVD or whatever out there and stop it when you get to that FBI warning. Read what it says. Not only is that movie copyrighted, but see, they can't copyright some fiction. Ours is copyrighted because it was a blessing upon us and it was a bestowing upon us. Our name was bestowed and blessed upon us by the court. It was bestowed by our parents and then blessed by the court.
Yes,
And then, in most cases, it was under 2 additional witnesses.
Isn't that what they call a gift?
A what?
A gift, G-I-F-T.
No, look up what it says about bestowed and bequeath, okay? Baptism, okay? Look up the words that I use in these documents, okay? So that you understand when you use these words. You just don't write these and turn around and put your information in. You better understand every word that you are using. And if you don't find it in the dictionaries, type it in and search it out on the internet. Always go to more than just one place, okay?
All right.
So, does anybody have any questions? This is your remedy, okay? When you have this document, and then also, like what one of the other girls said, okay, on one of the Skype groups there. Normally, they will put their stamp, their notary stamp on there. You also have to get, when you go into the county recorder or state government office, you also need to have them put their embosser on there. The state stamp is only for in-state. When it's embossed, now it can go out of state. So you need to make sure that they put both of them on there.
And then I have a question.
Okay.
You said when the judge comes in with a robe on, that it's like a Jesuit.
No, I never said that at all. I said that all these state courts, they cannot operate in admiralty. And they're definitely not operating in maritime law. Okay?
That's right.
They're operating as pirates.
That's right. But what was the significance about the robe again?
There is no goddamn significance of a black robe.
Okay.
What I was saying about the Jesuits, okay, was that everybody out here has been bad-mouthing the Jesuits for years. Black is white. White is black. In other words, black is good. White is bad. White is void of anything.
How is he going to want to admit it?
Black has substance to it because it blocks out things. It can stand against the frauds. Yeah, you try writing a letter in white ink, nobody's going to be able to read it, are they?
Yeah, no substance.
Yeah. That's why you have to write it in black. Simple little things like this that people don't see in the process. And then they go out and badmouth the wrong people. They think the government's out there to help them. No, these governments that are out here right now are out there for a profit. And who are they profiting from? You. Or us.
I had a friend that went to the IRS office and had a recording and everything, brought a recorder, and they didn't want to be recorded, and they said the meeting's over. But he noticed on the wall it said, "Get the fever," and then it said, seizure. It's piracy. The Secretary of the State, I have 3 certificates that said the Secretary of the State of California has searched and found no evidence or record of Placer County, Big C, or County of Placer, or Superior Court of California, County of Placer. They have certificated that they found no evidence or record. They have to be pirates. They're in a pirate cove, like you say.
Well, they are basically have an EIN number. They have to have an employer's EIN.
Yeah.
See, EIN can stand, the E can stand for either employee,
or exempt,
employer, or exemption.
Right. Employee.
3 items it can stand, that E can stand for.
Okay.
And see, if we're not operating for profit, then that really stands, and basically there are employees, that a state employee person, that foreign grantor employee person, and that individual banker employee person. They're not operating for profit. They owe no taxes if they're not operating for profit. Just like they can't write a ticket against a vehicle if it's not operating for profit. But see, the state is having you operate it for their profit.
Mm-hmm.
So you're screwed. They're writing a ticket against themselves, but you don't know that. The driver's license, the certificate of title is supposed to be paying for all these traffic tickets that they're writing. And then if they harm you, basically they're using your name in vain. That's a $250,000 bankruptcy filing right there. But you call in your guns, and that means the FBI, the federal banking inspectors. It's all about banking in this country. The whole government is run as a banking organization. That's what Roosevelt put into play in the 1930s. He converted it into a piracy banking system.
Did you get the $250,000 amount from like the FBI warning on the beginning of the movies?
Yeah.
Yes, it's right there.
Yeah. I just didn't recall that was the amount being said.
Yep.
Yes, it says may constitute a felony with a maximum penalty up to 5 years in prison or a $250,000 fine.
And we can claim that probably if we're the personally damaged.
We are the person in admiralty, okay?
Yeah.
We are the admiral of our vessel. And see, this admir, okay? Just like Amir, the first 4 letters in America, the first 5 letters in admiralty, and I said this before.
Yeah.
Amir is a prince. What movie has that in it? Well, quite a few of them do, but basically the one that stands out is basically
Merchant of Venice.
The Merchant of Venice.
Yeah.
And basically, where did the merchants come from? The merchant law was out of basically Genoa and Venice back there in the Roman time, 2,000 years ago. Really, it started over there around 300 A.D. in those 2 places. And see, the church went out there, and basically they set up a lot of these piracy, because that's where the word came from Latin and Greek, about the time of when they set this all up, allowing the church vessels to go out and plunder the un-Christian vessels. And then England took it over under their banking system, under the crown, Temple Crown. So all pirate vessels that were operating in the Caribbean, operating against the Spanish and against the French for the English, had to be licensed by the crown. You'll see that, I think, in the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yep.
And that princess in the Merchant of Venice, she chose the prince that had the good use of the words, and that's what...
No, the prince was the guy that was sitting up at he was the court. It was the prince's court that they were in.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And see, that's what we go in. We go in as the prince.
Prince Court, right.
Then we stand over all these fraudulent arguers out here. And see, they've got to come in naked. They can't have a bank or a bar member represent them. They've got to come in on their own, basically defending their actions. And basically, in bankruptcy, they ain't going to appear. You'll have a trustee that will be acting for them in the court. And you've got to be able to stand up against that trustee. When you know that you're in admiralty jurisdiction, they're the bankrupts. We're not the bankrupt. We can't be bankrupt. This country was founded upon that principle that the people cannot be the bankrupts. We've got the power and the rights over the American Treasury. Congress wouldn't basically set up a bank, a governmental bank, so they had to basically do a roundabout way to set up the department, a sub-chartered department of the Treasury so that the Department of Treasury was not working under the Constitution. Now it was a sub-charter, then it could go out and set up a banking system with a private bankers. See, that's what people don't understand, and then they go in and basically they get into a court action and they start arguing the damn codes. And just like I told you, basically, parlay, okay? In the movie, basically, and then the captain comes out and says, well, that's just a guideline. We don't have to comply with that. And then they trick you into, basically, in a parlay, saying something, and basically you don't realize that you better be very detailed in what you say.
No, I thought you said you were going to get talking later.
Okay, anybody else out there?
Do you have a number where I could hear recordings of the calls?
Tom has them posted on eConcurrent.
Excuse me?
They are posted on eConcurrent, all one word, the letter E, and then concurrent.com
Okay.
/Devine, DEVINE, and then basically that is the principal parent, and then you'll find the calls under there, and you'll find files under there in different folders.
Thank you.
When you go in there.
Thank you.
But also we post the link to the call on the link section of the Yahoo group, and we send out an email for each call giving the link to the call.
Yeah, if you get into We the People _shareholders as a Yahoo group, okay, and sign up there, you can download them off of that group site also. But you got to be a member before you can download them.
Okay. Thank you.
And depending on your browser, you can either just listen to them online, or you may have to download them to listen to them.
Okay.
Just make sure you turn your volume down when you start listening to me.
Yeah, Patrick.
Yeah.
You had sent out in your notes that you put on Skype, and I put on a document on the site. Your opening paragraph to the WAVEN, and I've been looking at the previous one, and I don't see much to change outside of that. Your introduction, your explanation.
I'm reworking this now with after I did this baptismal certificate, and I'm going to have to do some changes into the new one because I'm trying to work it all in there. Okay, and see now when you do the Form 56 and the 56F, basically, I forget which line it was, 7 or whatever, 8 or 10 or whatever. Basically, it asks you if this was a court action. Yes, it is a court action now. When you assign your name, okay, and you're using your copyrighted name based upon the court giving you that copyright protection. That ecclesiastical court gave you that name, and it's now copyrighted. It's yours to use. See, that's what I'm saying. If the police officer comes up there and writes your name on a document, they are doing a copyright infringement right there. If the court sends out a document with your name on it, they're committing copyright infringement too. Ecclesiastical copyright infringement. And you can bring your minister into that court, your ecclesiastical court member. Of course, most of these ecclesiastical ministers don't understand the law. They just do these things, but they don't understand what the shit they just did. But even the Pope basically pointed that out to the prisoners there in Pennsylvania. Hey, your remedy's down there in the damn prison chapel. Yeah.
Okay.
Patrick, I got a question, Patrick.
Yeah.
I got baptized today, and the thing was, guy who did it, whatever, he didn't put my birth date on it. He put a different date on there. Is that important that it has my actual birth date, or is it any reason why he gave me a different birth date, knowing he had my actual birth date on a piece of paper to copy from?
Did he just mess up or what? Okay.
That's what.
You ask him. Okay. Why'd you put this date?
I mean, what's so interesting and why I'm asking, Patrick, is because someone was with me and they got baptized too, and both of us have different dates, and both of our dates were 7 months after our birth. You know, two different people. 7 months.
Well, they have a baptismal date. Okay, that's not going to be your birth date.
Okay, so what does a baptismal date mean? Especially if I get...
That's the date you're baptized. That's the date you were properly given your copyright name. See, otherwise you're out here operating with an uncopyrighted name. You're not valid.
Okay, Patrick. So I'm to understand. He wasn't supposed to put my birth date there. That's all I want to know. Because I'm not sure. That's the only reason I'm asking.
I don't know what the form basically says. Okay, does it say birth date and then say baptismal date?
It just says birth date, and then he wrote down there September the 2nd.
Okay, my question is, is this a valid minister? Does he have a record book for that baptism?
Yes.
Okay. You just operate with that on there, okay?
Okay, but Patrick, and all I need is, I don't need anything additional from him, do I? Other than the baptismal paper.
No, basically, if he got it under his church seal, notary or whatever, from there, that he's validated that date and everything under like court seal.
Okay, because he didn't put no seal on it at all. He just signed it.
Well, basically, there should be a court seal on there, okay? A ministerial seal.
Yeah.
All churches should have a seal.
Okay, because there's no...
Because they're operating as a 501c3 organization, they've got to have a seal.
Wow. Thanks, Patrick, because, yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. A lot of these ministers really don't know the powers that they have. And you've got to make sure you go to a valid, just like a notary, okay? You don't go to a banker's notary or an insurance company or anything like that, or your next-door neighbor that basically sent in and got a notary item. You don't use them. You've got to go to a governmental office notary. And then they put their stamp notary on there, and then they also have to put their state government seal on there. Their seal of office.
Hi, Patrick. This is Mary.
Yeah.
I have an idea. I even got my parents' copy of their marriage license and their matrimonial certificate from the Catholic Church, and as a way to rebut the presumption that I was a foundling. And I was wondering, would there be any advantage of putting that into the record here?
No, you don't need that, okay? And you're not a bastard child, okay? Basically, that's a fraud that basically been put out there. You're only a bastard because basically you did not have a baptismal certificate. That's the only reason that they could have ever claimed that you were a bastard child, because you were not Christian. You were a pagan.
I see.
Okay?
Okay.
You see, the church basically has the lead in all this. Okay? They were out here way before the government of this country was ever set up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. My next question had to do with something that Gannon wrote on the Skype. He was making suggestions that we add the non-resident of the Republic of the state into
basically,
that.
you'll do that when you do your W8BEN.
Right.
Okay. And then he said to also add a declaration to arrive at the port. Is what I was a little bit.
Well,
confused.
no, you just come in and you stand in admiralty, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, you stand in admiralty, and basically you've got them right there, because they can't hear anybody in admiralty. And you stand in there and basically also bring up the point of copyright infringement per ecclesiastical court action.
And that's because the old courts of chancery were the courts of equity.
Don't forget the courts of chancery, okay? You don't even mention that shit.
All right.
Okay?
Mhm.
You don't bring up court of equity or any of that stuff. You stand in admiralty, and then you bring up the court of the ecclesiastical court that gave you your copyright protection over your name by baptism. That was a bestowing of the name upon you and then blessing it by the court. Your parents bestowed you with that name. Okay? So it was given to you by your parents, and then the court basically confirmed it and blessed it.
And gave it
and then they washed away they gave you the power by that baptism to wash away all original contracts.
Oh.
Yes. You have the funds from the Treasury sitting there, and basically you gave a signature, so you gave a letter of credit to buy that car, to buy that house.
Mm-hmm.
From your Social Security account. But the pirates are holding it away from you because you didn't know how to utilize it.
Mm-hmm.
See, they can't make a profit if you're paying for the thing outright. They want to hold it as collateral. Then they can make a profit. Now, if you paid for everything outright, they ain't going to make a profit. All these banks and insurance companies will shut right down.
Well, it's time to turn the tide, Patrick.
Yeah, if you understand what I just did, the power of that baptismal document going into court, and then with your birth certificate, and then with your Bible in hand, and basically you stand in admiralty, you've got them.
Patrick?
Yes.
I don't have a birth certificate. I was born in another country, and then I was naturalized here, and a name change occurred when I was naturalized.
You got a naturalization document that is basically your birthing document here in this country.
Okay, and then my name was I changed my name again when I became divorced because I didn't like the name my parents gave me.
Okay, the name that you changed, basically it had to go through a court record, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So I have that, and I have yet to, so now I need to go get baptized.
Yes, you're going to need a baptism, and you should go to the country that you were born in and get a copy from them. Okay?
Wait a minute, I haven't been baptized.
No, I said your birth certificate. You should go and get your birth certificate from them.
They don't, Japan does not give out a birth certificate.
What do they give out?
They have a family registry, and it goes under the parent's name for all the children.
Were you born on a military installation?
No.
Okay.
I was born in a Japanese home to a Japanese mother.
Okay.
And a military father who was not mentioned in my birth certificate, was not mentioned on the registry.
They don't give any confirmation of anything to make the Japanese citizens entitled to the inheritance of Japan.
Right.
They got to have something over there for those people.
Well, they have a registry. My mother had to open up a new registry for me.
Okay.
When she had me.
Okay, then there should be a copy of that registry.
Can you get?
I have a copy. I have a copy of the registry. But if my mother were to have other children, they would have gone on the same registry.
Okay.
But she gave up
basically your birthing document.
Right.
Okay. It's not notarized or authenticated or anything like that.
It's not sent out by the Japanese authority in any capacity, huh?
No. Not unless could I get it off? I don't know if I could get it authenticated. I don't know how to do that.
How did they basically, what did they utilize for your validation when you got naturalized here in this country? They had to get something from Japan.
Adoption papers.
Gave them the authorization.
Adoption papers.
Okay. Then that goes along with the registry document.
And a Japanese
Put
passport.
all those together.
Okay. A Japanese passport to enter this country.
Okay.
As a child.
You had to have a passport. Okay. That goes through the registry also.
Okay.
See, that's a passport for a vessel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so basically the name on the vessel had to be authorized by the country.
Right.
But it wasn't, if you didn't have a baptismal certificate, it was a pirate's vessel coming out of Japan.
Right.
Okay, so you need to get your baptismal record or get baptized so that now you can stand as an American vessel, properly named, and your name is now copyright protected.
Could I get my name?
Whatever name you're using right now, get that one, okay?
All right.
You got the name changes all the way up to that point in time.
Okay. Thank you.
See how you women can screw things up?
We try.
I know. You make it so complicated.
I know. Gosh.
And the bankers just love the living shit out of you women because of that fact. Yeah, a guy can get married 25 times and you don't change his name, but a woman gets married 25 times and they keep changing their damn name.
Yeah. Well, my name changes had to do with having been adopted.
Yeah,
more than anything else.
Papers together, Okay?
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And then basically all women are supposed to stand by the Book of Ruth. Like I said before. That's why that Book of Ruth, okay, written by basically supposedly a woman's name, is the only woman's name, one that's in the Bible. Because it gives the protections for a woman. She stands either behind her father, her husband, or her dead husband. That has gotten women out of any court actions before. When they go in and say, hey, I stand by the Book of Ruth. And basically that judge can't go any further.
Wow.
And I said this for years.
Why is that, Patrick? Why you can't go no further?
Yeah. The pirates can't touch a woman if they stand by the Book of Ruth. And you stand in amity. But if you go in there and you argue like a man does, and basically they're going to tear you down just like they do the men.
Patrick.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. Do you have a example on the site or in any of the folders of a bankruptcy filing for the infringement on the name? Copyright?
No.
We've got more damn bankruptcy filing documents up there on the site over the past 4 or 5 years. There's probably some in there. Okay, examples of them. You're taking these, you need to get, like I said, over the last several calls, you need to get their EIN number, their employer's identification number. You need to get their license number, that bar license or the whatever of the police officer's license. And then you need to get the EIN for the police department or the sheriff's department. And then get the badge number for the officer in there. Because that badge number is basically their banking authorization number. They should have that on the traffic tickets if they write them. Then you can turn around and basically if they cause you any harm in the process or copyright infringement, and see, that's where you need to go into the court, basically, about copyright infringement. The banks are doing this. The court's doing this. The police are doing this. They're all using our name, the Social Security Administration, the IRS. They're all copyright infringing upon our name.
Hello, Patrick.
Yes.
If they are, and I'm sure you're right, how are we going to get paid if they can't use our name?
We can use our name, okay?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But we're going to shut down the Social Security, the pirate vessels that are out there.
I see.
Then we will go in with our 98 number into the de jure Admiralty Treasury and draw against it using our individual banker and our foreign grantor trust EIN. That foreign grantor trust EIN is now going to be your routing number to route out the funds out of the Treasury. But we're going to terminate all the others in the process. We're going to surrender them because they're pirate vessels. So you surrender them over to the Admiralty of the country.
Okay. Quite interesting.
And you get rid of all stinking insurance policies out there, too. All basically commercial bank accounts. See, even the FDIC is using your name. They're committing copyright infringement to the tune of $250,000.
And also, they have contacted me, and I'm sure they have done it to others, in regards to having you just assign. They will pay for all of your insurance. I said, now, this is a bit odd. So now I see what they're doing. Okay.
Yeah, they'll pay for your insurance.
I'm sure.
Because they're turning around and basically they're double dipping off the deal.
Yes. I got you.
Yeah, they're taking the funds off of your pirate vessel that we funded when we signed that damn contract and put $600 to $1 million on that pirate vessel out of our de jure treasury account. That's what you did. You authorized that, and you haven't used that $650,000 out there yet.
No.
It's being held there away from you, just like in the Pirates of the Caribbean, all the gold was hidden away in that one place. Numerous places this is done in movies out there. The Hobbits, okay? The National Treasure, both the first and the second one. All the gold was hidden underground. It had already been mined and brought to the surface, but then it was redeposited back underground.
I think that's what happened with the World Trade Center, huh?
No, the World Trade Center was an outright bankruptcy robbery by the Bushes, if you know the true story.
Oh, I've heard all kinds of stories, so you really don't know.
Well, yeah, basically there's a bunch of misunderstanding about that whole thing, too.
Okay.
Because a lot of people that were putting out this bum information, they wanted to remain a Republican and support the Bushes and everything, and the Bushes are just a banking cartel, and they've been ripping this country off big time.
Yep, I can believe that.
Yeah, basically Prescott Bush, okay? George Herbert Walker Bush's daddy, Prescott Bush, was Hitler's banker. He was being brought up on treason charges, and then the banker stepped in and backed him and got the treason charges removed, and then he turned around and become a damn senator. Hell, both of the damn Bushes out there basically ripped off Silverado or Lincoln, whatever, savings and loan. And what do the people do? They put them right into the damn presidency.
Right.
Little Georgie was a total drug addict.
Diabolical. That's all I can call it.
Yeah, basically, these guys are sick from the word go.
Oh, yeah.
And people can't even read the damn Constitution because no president in the de jure can run for office. They had to be like Grover Cleveland. They had to sit out one term. Then they could run for another term if they got elected then. But they could not be in office. They could not be an inhabitant. And that holds true also with all the senators and with all the congressmen. They're not in the de jure side of the government. They're in this piracy government. Because you cannot be an inhabitant of the office and run for the office at the same time. And see, that's what the problem is. People can't even read in this country.
Well, I can say this, too, in regards to a lot of things that we've read out here. Everybody is lying and frying, okay? And it's just come to a point where you just have to hear it and know in your spirit. Because if you don't, You'll keep following all of the dead heat.
You have to go out and you have to read it yourself. Then you have to look up what the words really mean in the connotation that they're being utilized in. Okay? Does this definition of the word really fit what is being utilized in the sentence that it's being used in?
When you were talking about the mortgages, okay, when you said the word federal, to me, that came across the word settler. So I'm going to try to tie that all in when I reread this again. So you keep talking, because I'm listening.
You understand what you've done with the mortgage, okay? Then you can basically turn around and claim fraud against that banker because of non-disclosure, okay? Fraudulent concealment. They concealed what was really taking place in that contract. But you take it into admiralty, you don't go into their pirates' court and try and argue the thing because you're going to lose. The deck's stacked against you when you go into the pirates' court.
And you are correct, because I did that. We lost, but we learned a lot. I'll tell you that much. Mm-hmm.
Now you know what court you have to go into. And then you also have to go in and basically about the copyright infringement. Because they're using your name for profit out there in the process.
Yes, they are.
And you didn't authorize them to use your name for profit, did you?
No.
No. That's fraudulent concealment right there. And basically it's also copyright infringement.
Sure is.
Yeah, so you got a $250,000 claim against them right off the bat.
Can you sue the magistrate too?
If the court turns around and plays into their hand, into the banker's hands, thinking that you don't know what the hell's going on, and you play dumb when you go into the court, and basically the court gets away with it, and then you find out later there is no statute of limitation against fraud. You can always go back after them.
Uh-huh. Fraud or murder. I don't think there's any time limit. Okay.
Piracy, the same thing.
Okay.
All right.
Jack Sparrow, he had that stamp of being a pirate, and basically they were going to hang him just on that fact alone. Not that he was committing any act of piracy at the present time, but because he had that stamp of being a pirate on his arm.
Thank you very much.
Patrick, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Does any federal court stand in admiralty?
Yes. Only the federal courts can operate in admiralty.
Okay, but in an everyday, normal setting, as far as, criminal cases, civil cases, are they standing in admiralty at that time?
In some cases, no. In most cases, no. Okay?
So if you invoke admiralty...
if you don't invoke the jurisdiction of admiralty, that you are standing in admiralty, and that's what you're coming in, and see, you're going to be the one that is going to be pushing the charge. You're not going to wait for the court to write out a charge against you. You initiate the action. You now know what action they're doing against you, so you ought to be able to take countermeasures. And basically, even it says, I think in that Catholic Encyclopedia under ecclesiastical courts, it says that you have to go in there, and the first thing you do, you don't plead innocent or guilty. You plead a counter action or a counter charge.
Right.
And I know I was touching on that a couple of years ago. I've hit just about everything out here in this process at one point or another. But people didn't see what I was doing at that point in time, and nobody really got out here and tried to help in the process in pushing these things.
So what would be your countercharge there, Patrick?
Copyright infringement.
And piracy.
Okay.
And basically admiralty. And basically they're operating in piracy.
Even though they're standing in admiralty.
They're not standing in admiralty.
Well, you're standing in admiralty, but what I'm saying is just an admiralty court.
We're standing in admiralty. They cannot, a state court cannot operate in admiralty.
No, I'm talking about federal court. I'm not talking about state court.
Okay, if you go into a federal court, you get them into admiralty, then basically there can be no attorney in that admiralty court. You've got to know that.
Okay.
See, there's got to be an actual individual harmed, okay? So the IRS can't go in there and basically go into admiralty.
Okay, you just answered the question.
Yeah, see?
Thank you, sir.
There has to be an injured party in admiralty.
Patrick, so when you had us look at admiralty before, you did point out that they lose all their immunity when we take them into admiralty.
Yes, if they want to come in there, they have to stand naked. Okay?
Right.
They cannot have any bonds of protection or EIN corporations that are protecting them if you're bringing a charge against, like, the judge.
Right.
Or the police officer.
And being in bankruptcy basically does that. You basically strip them out.
No, in bankruptcy, you're taking the corporation and the bond of office into bankruptcy.
Not the individual, right.
Right. You're taking their bond, and basically now if you take their insurance policy away from them, they ain't going to be a cop any longer.
Okay.
They ain't going to be a judge any longer. Unless that insurance company says, well, we'll go ahead and we'll up the rate on you and still allow you to be a judge.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
But the insurance rate that they're going to be charged is going to be astronomical. Just like basically if a doctor gets too many charges for malpractice, his damn insurance policy is going to go up through the roof. He will probably quit being a doctor because he can't afford the insurance any longer.
Okay.
That's happened numerous times out here. See, you've got to have a broad mind in what I'm doing here. You've got to think outside the box. Get out of their box, their coffin that they're holding you in. I'm still working on the W8BN and affidavit there, okay? Trying to merge this baptismal one in there. These things are not just a turnkey deal. It took me about 3 days to bring that baptismal document all together. I had to go in there and start watching some movies in the process so that I could pull down that
warning.
Federal banking inspectors warning about copyright infringement.
Now, you had mentioned that we need to get an EIN for our for Church of Rome postmaster. And will that be for banking purposes, or is it very much?
That will be going after the world assets. Okay? Down the road. Right now, you people just need to concentrate on learning this stuff and basically just concentrate on getting the American Treasury straightened out.
Okay, good.
See, you guys are like in kindergarten, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting up here in 12th grade hammering all this damn shit. You guys still got a few years of learning yet to try and concentrate in the next 6 months.
Yes.
And then you've got to stop playing around with all these other websites out there and stop listening to them because they're going to screw with your mind. Nobody's proved me wrong on any of my stuff yet. I've had an open invitation out there for that all along. Yeah, we may not have had quite the results that we were hoping for, but basically what we were doing hasn't been wrong. We just didn't have quite all the pieces of the puzzle turned the right way or laid down properly in the process. But we've sure as this shit shaken up some of these courts out here and scared them completely away from us. At least a couple of us have. Let's see, under fraudulent concealment and basically under copyright infringement of usage of that. And see, every time they send out a bill with your name on it, that's copyright infringement.
Is the
because they're using your name as a dead man's name.
Okay.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, is the copyright infringement because they use the all uppercase name?
No, it doesn't. Your name, however it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
It's the fact that they're using it.
Yes. The fact that they are using it for profit. You never authorized them to use that for profit. So, their usage of that for profit is a copyright infringement. See, that's what you have to address. Why is it a copyright infringement? Because they're using it for profit. Piracy. Read the definition about what I have on the baptism one there about piracy.
Yes.
See, I don't post these documents up there for no reason. I post them up there hoping that you people will read them. Fraud, deceit, trickery, sharp practice, or breach of confidence perpetrated for profit or to gain some unfair or dishonest advantage. The government has been operating with an unfair and dishonest advantage over you all along because they got you into basically robbing you under an intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
And see, the robbery is on the seas. within admiralty jurisdiction. That's what piracy is. And that was out of the online definition of piracy. And it was for the British definition of it. And basically, we're getting robbed on the seas of commerce, commercial commerce. That's why I added. This includes the commercial banking seas. And the commercial banking seas are the interest rate fluctuations of valleys and crests of the interest rates going up and down. The bond values. And see, they operate under 15-day bonds and 30-day bonds in most cases. I know that for a fact because I traded commodities.
Is there a similarity between common law and admiralty law?
Basically, common law, just think about it. Common is basically the law that is in place that everybody operates, all the commoners operate with. So you don't want to use that word common law and go into a piracy court, because common law in a piracy court is the pirate's code. You want to strictly stay in admiralty, okay? And then basically operate per the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence.
Well, that's what's happening now.
Huh?
There's a whole movement for common law, which
I know, and they're screwed up in their understanding of this. Because you got common pirate law, you got common maritime law, you got common admiralty law, you got common equity law, you got common shit law over here. What law do you want to be in common for? The UCC, or the U.S. codes, they're common to the pirates. The Constitution is common to basically the de jure government.
Right.
See,
that's the
so
one.
People don't understand what the word common, and they will turn that against you, and I can guarantee that one.
Yeah, they're using common communist law.
Yeah.
Like you said, you called it communist law.
Yeah, and see, that's what all these nitwits out here that think they know what they're doing, and they don't. That's what I'm saying. You go and listen to these other people out here putting that bullshit out, and it's going to screw with your mind. Don't worry, Jesus had to contend with this same deal. Daniel had to contend with the same thing. Moses had to contend with it. Noah had to contend with it. Abraham had to contend with these other people out here. They were trying to tell the people the right truth, and then everybody else was listening to all the other garbage because it sounded so much easier, and basically they were going to do it in a group effort. This has to be done on an individual basis. See, the Hebrews came out of Egypt because they did it on an individual basis by putting a red marking over their household, individual household. The ones that were too scared and didn't put it over the household, they didn't come out. But yet a bunch of bankers sort of infiltrated the damn thing and snuck out with the Hebrews because they saw all the gold going out with the Hebrews, or with the Moors going to the west when they left Egypt. and a bunch of Ethiopians went south. See, that's part of the history that people don't get the whole story. Just like you never got the whole story about what happened between Jesus' time frame between the age of 12 and his 30th birthday, when all of a sudden he appeared back on the scene and basically was baptized by John the Baptist. Because now he was put into the admiralty system, and that's why Pilate could find no fault with this man, because Jesus was standing in admiralty. He was baptized. His name was confirmed, blessed. And all of his sins were essentially forgiven. All his debts. Now he had access to the Roman treasury, or to the treasury of the nation that he came from. That's what pissed off the money changers and those Jezebel Jews there in Jerusalem. I could list more and more examples of this whole thing out here. Okay. Is there any questions out here on this stuff that's there? Take a look at that baptismal document. Go through it.
I got one, Patrick.
Home. Okay. Go ahead.
My question is on the birth certificate. I'm sorry, the baptismal certificate affidavit. Can we go to any notary on that, or does that have to be government also?
It's going to have to be a state official government position, okay? Office.
Okay.
And basically then you get their state notary seal plus their office embossment seal on that document. You get the state
question about
notary
that
stamp.
seal.
The state notary stamp is for usage internally in the state. When you get it embossed at the same time, then it can go out of state.
Okay. Now, if the stamp says, I live in Pennsylvania. This is Don. If the stamp says Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and then in the county on the stamp, do you still need to get it embossed, or does that stamp pretty much
to be embossed? Okay.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Because you're going into the foreign state of the United States of America major. When you go into that Philadelphia financial center, okay, that's a United States of America major office, government office. So it's a foreign government. You're coming in from a state government into a foreign government, even though they're located right in the same state. But you're transversing two different states.
Wow.
Yeah, see how the game's played now?
Yeah. Essentially, there's like two different governments, or one corporation and one government.
You are a government all to yourself. That's why when you go to get the foreign grantor trustee EIN, your address that you're living at is your domicile. It's not your resident. It's not your inhabitant's address. It's your domicile in the Republic or in the Commonwealth per the de jure land of the country or the state. And see, that is foreign, and you are a foreign government to the state government because you are a family government as soon as you reached the age of 21.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? And see, almost all their contracts out here were initiated by a baby act. That Social Security account was normally initiated while you were underage. So that is total fraud right there, too. And see, I also got a copyright confirmation of an additional name in the Roman Catholic Church at the age of 12.
Confirmation, right.
I have a copyrighted confirmation name by the bishop of the diocese by an ecclesiastical court of Patrick Paul Devine. And see, that's right there on my baptismal certificate also. And it also has, see, why on my baptismal certificate, it also has my marriage to the woman. Basically, she was being brought into my estate, my admiralty estate in the process, under ecclesiastical court authority. All the functions on the Roman Catholic baptismal certificate of being baptized, communion at the age of 7, confirmation at the age of 12, and then marriage when you're of age, basically all fit right into the whole process. And they're all performed under an ecclesiastical court, which that is one of the highest courts in the world. It's not the highest court. And all these presidents and everything else basically go over there and kiss the Pope's ring. Basically kneel before him. So they're kneeling their power to that Pope. Not as the Roman Catholic Pope, but basically as the Church of Rome pontificate, or whatever, the head judge. Of the Roman law system. Okay?
Hey, Patrick, you talked about the baptismal as a christening for our vessel, which is our body that holds the soul. And then once you have that, then theoretically...
It's also at the same time is christening everything that's associated with you, your inheritance. So your vessel that was built in Philadelphia shipyard, Treasury shipyard, also that it had a name because of the certificate of live birth. But now that name has been confirmed or blessed upon that vessel also.
Right.
Not only your living vessel, but on your treasury vessel at the same time.
Right. And did you say it allows us to operate admiralty instead of maritime, but it allows us to operate in commerce in a private manner?
There is no admiralty really encompasses maritime, okay?
Right. Okay, that's
Okay.
what I was looking for. So we're operating privately, but we're
operating in admiralty law, basically under the laws of Rome, okay?
Right.
The Roman laws, under the laws of Christ, cast in iron. The Roman law cast in iron.
Well, it's amazing how Christians can't understand that cast in iron thing, even though it's in the book of Daniel and everything.
It's surprising that, yeah, there's even a vast majority of Christians out here that aren't baptized.
Right.
Yeah, they claim to be Christians, but basically, how can they be a Christian if they ain't baptized?
Right, because you're not cast in iron yet.
Yeah, you're a pagan, you're a heathen, whatever. In the classification, you're still operating as a pirate out here in the process. And you can be attacked at will because that's what you're operating like France or Spain out here in the waters of England. Okay, just like in the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, that's a good understanding to launch your vessel in your mind and your power and everything.
Yeah, you've got to have your copyright infringement. Where did it come from? It came from the ecclesiastical church. And see, you don't need to go, and like Rob Ryder and some of these other people, trying to go down to the court, to the local governmental piracy court, and copyright your name there. You're already copyrighted. If you get a ecclesiastic, you're standing in a higher court.
But their reprobate mind didn't think of that.
Yeah. That's why these bishops and everything out here, diocese bishops that are standing out here, and the vast majority of them are in the Roman Catholic Church, but basically also a bishop of the Lutheran Church or whatever. Basically, they have authority, but any minister can come into that court and basically side with you and defend your rights in ecclesiastical. I had a minister come up here, basically claimed to be a minister. He went through the seminar, and basically he was originally a Roman Catholic. Then he turned around and he went to another denomination, became a minister, and he came up here when they were trying to arrest me about 3 or 4 years ago on a warrant from another county over. And basically, as soon as he addressed himself as a minister, they sort of backed off and treated me a little better than what they normally would have done. He just didn't see the power that he had as in a minister capacity, and he didn't see it either, what power he had. And when he didn't exert his power at the point time, then the police continued on in their process. But that minister, basically, if he would have known his ecclesiastical powers, he could have put a stop to it right then and there. Okay, any other questions? Okay, call tonight, Tom.
Okay, thank you very much, Patrick.
Okay. Later.
Thank you for the affidavit. I really like that. Thank you.
Okay, later.